All right, this is like the third time me recording this, but this is dedicated to one of my best friends. Last in the last two videos, I just said his name, and I shouldn't say his name like that. But dedicated to one of my best friends who just got married today, and I was dead. Um, I had the honor of being part of the groomsmen. There were five other groomsmen, and how I thought about it, and I had the thought of just like making this for him as just to get my thoughts out there, I mean, that's all this is. But I hope you're listening right now, and it's just I won't have the perfect words or anything, but I didn't get to write a letter or anything, so I'm kind of imagining this as that, like as a toast slash a letter slash whatever. But I met this guy freshman year of high school, and he was just one of the typical homeschool kids that you would find. But the thing that was so cool about him is that I like to think of myself as a real person, and when I met him, he really showed his true self on his sleeve, and that's a rare thing for anybody. Everyone tries to wear a mask and tries to be something that they're not when meeting people or when you're friends or just really just anything. But this is a guy one in a million who is just a little goofy at times, whose personality can be funny without even trying to be funny, but then also just like one of the most down to earth people that you'll ever meet in your life. It's funny. It's sometimes he's so down to earth, and then other times his head's just in the clouds. But he's one of the most selfless, most humble, most real people that you would ever meet. And like I would be around him at times. We were roommates freshman year at college, and when we were in the stage of meeting new people, he's just one of the most social, just most like friendly, just like he could be friends with anybody. And I had the privilege of calling him one of my closest friends. Probably my closest friend there for a little bit. And I miss the days of just rooming together in that small college dorm, um, with just the goofy stuff that happened in there, with the wrestling, the decorating, the gag gifts, the real gifts, the just the whole experience. And it's just like it was just such a privilege. And I remember sophomore year where of high school, where he said that he was going on dates with this first girl, and just nothing was really working out. It seemed like he really just he needed someone. And so he was just trying his luck and just playing the game as like everyone does. And the guy, I mean, straight off the bat, he just found one of the most amazing women you've ever met in your entire life. What really sold me on her was the fact that she was health conscious, nutritionally conscious, what's it called? No vaccinations, extremely base biblically, just, I mean, just a Proverbs 31 girl. Um, Beautiful, soft spoken, hard to describe with words. And it's crazy that in such a short time frame, he found a girl one in a million. One in a billion. I mean, especially nowadays, it's hard to come across anyone remotely close to the character that she has. But this I wanted to just like say a few words to him and his bride. They're probably having a pretty good time right now. But anyway, I just had a thought. I mean, I think, I don't know if I said this, but he said that I should have given a toast, and like essentially just framed it like a podcast, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. It'll get too real. And also, it's like the stories that I have about him are they're just not share worthy. I don't know. They're all a little too. They're all funny, but I mean, I did just want to go over like just being able to, I don't know when we really got close, but I know the all the groomsmen up there, it seemed like it's like just I saw it, and looking back on it as I'm reflecting now, it's just seemed like that there were just like groups of people, like he had his brothers, he had his best family friends, and then it seemed like I was the only one up there who was from his high school friend group. And it seemed like I was honored with the privilege of being able to be almost like the representative of his high school friends, which was just such an honor. And it just seemed like, he had his closest family and friends there, and just being able to be part of that was just something so special, and I remember the days when we would talk about just the time when we would honestly just actually just talk about this in our dorm together. It's just like, and I was so excited for the day that because I knew he was gonna marry this girl. I knew. I mean, who wouldn't? When you find a girl like that, it's you just can't let her slip away. And the fact is, it's not even like she just checked off all the boxes, but it's just like to be able to find a girl like that where not only she checks off all the boxes, but you're in love with her. And I mean, you have the short-term pleasures, but then the long-term pleasure is just presence. Being able to find, I don't really believe in soulmates. When you get married, that is your soul mate, and so it's like, but it's like he found his soulmate, and being able to have your soulmate check off every single box that you could possibly imagine, and then being able to just enjoy her presence and being able to experience life together, and just, I don't know, it's when you have someone like that, it seems like there's never a dull moment. And so he's really just the luckiest guy in the world for that. And I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world for being able to have him as a friend. But I remember the days when we would talk about this, oh, someone's calling. It's all right. When we would talk about this and just like, because I knew it would come. I knew the day that he would get married would come. I knew he was going to marry this girl, and obviously he did too. It's just figuring out the timing and everything. And it came, I don't know if it came sooner than expected. It just, no, it's not that. It was surreal. It was surreal. I mean, being up there and then seeing them walk down the stage of just like, it was just, I can't imagine how he's feeling, but it's just like, it's interesting to see someone complete a milestone like that, especially at a young age. But it's so cool, and I reminisce on the times in the dorms when we would just talk about this moment, and I would just get so excited because, I knew he was going to be the first one in the friend group to get married. And I would just fantasize about the wedding and the just the day that is today. And it's come, and it's surreal because it's the end of one chapter and the beginning of a new one. And for them, I pray for every moment that they go through. It's just blessed by the Lord. I pray for their children. I pray that, it's hard to describe what to pray for, because I just pray for all of it. I just pray for everything that I can pray for, because may it all just be guided by the Lord. Um, and it's just having a girl that amazing, and being such an amazing person as my friend is, and just being able to see the 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 I don't know what the word is, but being able to see it all just, I don't know, come to this closing of this chapter of dating, obviously, and now they're beginning a new chapter, and I just pray for the absolute best for them. Um, and one of the greatest things about my friend is that, why I say that he's real is because one of the greatest things that I cherish about our friendship is that there were rough times in our friendships, but um it seemed like we were never afraid to hurt each other's feelings or not speak the truth, even when it was hard. And I would say, and he always told me that he was so bad at communication, but I knew that that wasn't true. I knew that wasn't true because he was blunt in the best way possible, and um he would always, being able to have a friend that's not afraid of hurting your feelings and being able to say the truth no matter what, it's one in a billion friend. It's something so special, and it's something so great, to such an amazing characteristic that that I know he'll carry with him for the rest of his life, and it'll open up so many doors and opportunities for him. But it's like, in this time, I just think back to the funny moments where it's just like, just this the funniest moments where, like, a lot of it was like, on Discord, and like, I'd say video games is such a waste of time, but like I said that I was blessed by God to continue relationships in video games and friendships with these people, and he's one of the closest, because it's just like the funny times, like I remember so clear in my mind where, like, I didn't even know him that well yet, or like, I don't know, it's hard, but it's like, I remember we were playing Rust one day, and we were doing like a solo wipe thing, and I put a horse in front of his door, and then I killed him with all of his loot, and it seemed like he was extremely mad about that. But and then the times when I would just dog on him in the dorm room, I know I went a little too far in those moments, but and he would always get me back in little ways, But then just him and his personality, just trolling the Discord, and just like the funny moments of just him being him. The funny moments in high school where where a girl I remember, a girl said something. The teacher asked a question, and the girl said, tried to answer it, and then he goes and says, "No, you're completely wrong," and then gives the same exact answer. Uh, I'm not doing these stories justice, but it's funny, because it's never the extravagant big moments that you think about when you think about, one of your closest friends. It's always just the small things. It's always just this tiny, the small details that matter. And I'm just so blessed by God to be able to call him one of my closest friends, and I hope that I can continue being his friend, in this new chapter of, I hope I can say that I have a, he's a married man now, and I hope I can just continue to be a good friend to him. And I just hope all the best things for his bride and him. Um, I just hope the best. I hope the best. And I remember just like funny times when like it like, because during for a second there, his it seemed like he didn't want to show his girlfriend, at least in the early parts of his dating, to us, because I know how it is. It's like you show your someone that you care about extremely to some of your good friends, and they can just be ruthless towards you, just by trying to embarrass you in any way possible in front of her. But he was smart about that. Um, and so she was so hyped up, and then when we did meet her, it's just like it was so funny. It was just the funniest moments. It would just be like, it's like you see her and then you're just like, wow, that's, and then like you meet her and you're just like, wow, this is a Proverbs 31 girl. And it's just like, just so, to be able to have someone like that is so supportive to you, and just such a kind person, and just so pretty, and just being able to have someone like that. He's an extremely lucky guy. And I just wish, I wish there were better words. But I don't know how many times I can say it, but it's just like, I just hope and pray for the absolute best. Because I know, and it's like, I don't even have to pray for it, because I know it's just, when you have a great guy like that and a wonderful woman like that together, it's just, it'll be nothing but good. And everyone says it's just like, there'll be hard moments, and storms will come and this and that, but it's just like, you just gotta live in the moment, and whatever happens, at least you'll have each other. And it's just such an amazing thing. But it's just seeing this kid who was addicted to Roblox, and just played, and who I just had funny moments on video games with, and who me and my other roommate got to bully in the dorms with jujitsu, and just funny moments like that. Take a milestone of just being a man and taking care of a wonderful girl, and just, I don't know, it's just seeing life unfold like that, and it's surreal. And he would always, it's funny because like everyone knew it was going to be him, because he was almost like the dad of the friend group, in a lot of ways, and where it's like, and I remember like we would have adventures where like I was always a pretty reckless person, and just like wanted to do things that were just out of our capacity, like just climbing the tallest mountains, and during just trips, and just like trying to do this and that. And he would always just like, I don't know, just help me see things in just like a more responsible light. And that was one of his greatest qualities. Just like being it speaks that he will be such an amazing dad. I would try to be reckless, and he was always cautious and reeled me in, and the times that really mattered, especially like when we hiked a mountain, and it was crazy. And the thing that's such a good quality, it's that like he's never afraid to take this step, to take risky steps. It's like we found a mountain, and it's like, it wasn't the tallest mountain, but it was, and honestly, it was a little bit out of our like, what's the word? capabilities. Um, just because it was just like a foot and a half of snow on the ground and just hiking up through that and not even having a trail and just like being able to just like, I don't know. I don't do that. It was a little bit out of our capabilities, but it's just like I wanted to do like the most reckless thing where it's like if we did that, we'd probably just die on the mountain or not even start the hike at all. We'd just be discouraged. But I mean, he would always be he was never afraid to take the risks that he knew that we could take. And having just amazing intuition like that is just such a wonderful thing. And I hope that he never plays a single video game ever again. And I hope that you know that 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 he just continues to grow and continues to learn in this new chapter that he's on. And I hope that he just takes care. I mean, I know he will, but I just pray that he just takes care of his wonderful wife. It's crazy now. It's his wife. It's his wife. And I just hope that I just know that they're just such a compliment to each other. It's just like it's just like it's funny because it's like you see those old couples, right? Those old couples who've been together all their lives and like and you see them in their 80s and it's just like they're the most kind, warming, nice people you've ever met, God-fearing. And you see them always when they're 80s, but I feel like I'm able to see that in this young couple. It's like I feel like I already can see them being that, them, I'll be able to see them just like 60. Oh yeah, this is our 60th anniversary. And, I mean, just the most warming people, I know I mean, one day they'll be that old couple. I mean, sweet as can be. Um, of just in their old age, it's something that I know will just last a long time, last the rest of their lives. Um, and yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's moments like these where I hope I say the right things. And oh my gosh, I made mistakes on the wedding where it's just, on the wedding day where it's just like I corrected the bride accidentally, um, and I sometimes I just don't know where to walk and just I don't know, but just me just being an idiot. But I mean, you know, being a fool and just being able to be part of something so special is just it's grace and mercy all from the Lord. Um, you know, for a little bit there, we were going to the gym at 5 a.m. every single day, and it lasted about a week. And but I hope he's gonna be with his wonderful bride and what's it called, and on their honeymoon. But I hope I get to go to the gym with him one last time before they move some distance. I hope that I can just come visit them up in where they are maybe one day, and just if I ever when I meet a girl, I just hope to have a fraction of the kind of relationship that they have, because I know that fraction would just last a lifetime. Um, it would be enough and more for multiple lifetimes. But I mean, I'm just I just there's just that there's just no words, because it's just like I want to speak as highly as I possibly can of the two, and in a real tone, in a real manner, and it just seems like the words aren't there to describe them. Um, but yeah, to the bride and to the groom, I pray, and for all that it's worth, uh, I just wish y'all eternal joy, in the Lord, in each other, and you know, yeah, that's all I can say. And you know, I mean, he's one of my best friends, and yeah, yeah, I love him to death, and there's just no words. There's just no words. But yeah, I guess that's all I really can say. It's just like it's just hard to describe like a friend like that, where it's like, you hear it countless times of just like a person who, you know, never a dull moment, never an awkward moment, um, never anything wrong. It's just like who you can just be real with, just being completely real, like someone that can um shout out your flaws to you, someone who can um what's it called compliment you when you're doing well, just to have a real friend who's not a glazer and not a hater, but just real. And that's what my best friend is. And I'm honored to be able to call him one of my best friends. And to his wonderful bride, who just, it's just like, I know, and I just know that, like, there's just no words. There's no words. And then, I know she's going to be a wonderful mother. And, I hope that the children that y'all have are just arrows in a quiver. I forget what psalm that's from, but and it's to be able to have a wonderful girl like that to grow with. I mean, that's one of the parts that it's just like, it's nice in the moment, to just like have someone's presence, but then it's just like the greatest thing is just to be able to have someone by your side to grow with. It's just like to flourish with, to being able to share your winters, your summers, your falls, your springs, and having a girl like that, it just takes your breath away. Um, who just has all the perfect qualities of a wife and a mother, and who will continue to grow with you, and who's just funny and kind like that. And when you put that together with a wonderful man who's just such a humble, selfless, down to earth, alien type of person, it's a match made in heaven. So, I'm sorry, this is like 30 minutes, and so I wasn't able to say this at the wedding or at the reception or anything, or able to write a letter. But I mean, this is like from me to y'all. I just hope y'all hope for the very best for y'all. Y'all are absolutely amazing, and both blessed by God. You know, nothing I said on this was too special, but I just wish it was. I wish it was. I don't know. But goodbye, and I hope one day like y'all can just look back on just this moment with each other, you know, and this just funny little bubble of life where it's just like, you know, y'all remember where you first got married, and then it's just like in the future. But you know, not to say just living like you just got to live in the present though, you know. I mean, to be able to have, I mean, the best part is like you being able to have someone, being able to be married when you're still young, you know, being able to have all that time and share your I guess what's the word? I mean, physical peaks, you know, your primes together. But yeah, I just pray for them, and I love them, and I just wish for the absolute best for them. But yeah.